And the Cleveland Browns have traded up. They will take with the number 1 overall pick, Kenny Pickett, quarterback out of Pitt. Surprising move, Goon. We will talk some NFL draft here in just a bit, but to lead things off today, we talk a little bit about a fundraiser on what is an absolutely gorgeous day here, by the way. Very cool, but a gorgeous-looking day in the Valley of Happiness.
True. It's a beautiful day. I would love it. I mean, it is a little chilly. I had the dogs out this morning, and the windy, but it was very, very nice and sunny. So I got next to me here Jay Evanston from Timberland Bank or Timberland Federal Credit.
Federal Credit Union. There we go.
I was told I have to use those words, Federal Credit Union, when they introduce. So Jay's here going to talk about a fundraiser they're having in 2 weeks. Next weekend, next Friday, sorry.
Next Friday, yep. Yeah, we will we'll be at the branch. Kicks off our what we call Dogs for a Cause season. Pretty cool concept. We are selling hot dogs at each of our 4 locations. Different intervals. We're starting out at Pleasant Gap here on the 6th. All the money we raise goes towards Children's Miracle Network and Penn State Children's Hospital Hershey.
That in itself is why I've already donated money to you just for those two causes right there.
Yeah, so this will be our 3rd year doing it. We've raised almost $5,000 in the first 2 years. Looking forward to raising even more. We got some cool stuff going on here, at least at the Pleasant Gap one. I think Clearfield and the other ones are listening. I mean, would they steal the ideas from you, bro? If they do, we're going to consider it flattery. But we know nobody can do it better than Pleasant Gap.
There you go.
Full disclosure, I have to be partial because I'm marketing, so I represent everybody. But yeah, and the great thing about it is the more competitive we get, the more money we raise for the kids.
Yep.
So we got some prizes to give away at the Pleasant Gap one. I know we got the State College Spikes. We're giving away a suite for a game. We got a ton of other prizes. I've got some Converse jewelry. They donated a real nice piece for us. If you're into food, we got Robin Hood Brewing Company doing free pizza for a year.
Oh, whoa.
So, yeah.
Make sure my donation goes towards that, okay?
I already got yours right in there, yeah.
I mean, screw the spikes and the necklace. It ain't going to fit. So, but hey, you throw that pizza in there.
I was excited about the baseball until I heard free pizza. Then I was all in. So
what do people have to do next Friday here? What time, where?
All they got to do starting next Friday in Pleasant Gap is show up 11 to 2 at the branch. We are right next to, in Pleasant Gap, there where the old post office used to be.
Yep.
We won't say the other bank that was there.
It's on Benner, right? On Benner Pike?
Yeah, so we're right on West College. Okay. So 11 to 2, we're going to have hot dogs, chips, pop, water. We're going to have a dunk tank there, sponsored by Dixoncom Technology. Unfortunately, I think I will be the wonderful person that's going to be in there.
Donkey.
Yeah, so
they called to ask me, and I said, there's a weight limit on there, and I crossed that threshold in like 7th grade, right?
Plus, they're going to have to, with the amount of water that'll be displaced with each dunk is not going to make it a cost-effective
somebody throws
measure.
2 strikes in there, and they're filling the tub up again. Jeez.
I'm hoping for some noodle arms coming out, but we'll get them antagonized and raise some extra money for the kids. So,
well, that's good. I mean, where did this all start? Where does it come from?
This actually started 2 years ago. We got involved with one of our other partners. It was started as a hot dog eating contest, and
like a true hot dog eating contest.
Yeah, and we got creative with it because I just couldn't sit there and eat hot dogs for 10 minutes
or watch somebody eat hot dogs.
Not the most appealing thing. So
are there untrue hot dog eating contests? I wasn't aware of this.
We did fine dining for ours. So
I like it.
We had a server. We had champagne and everything.
Now we're talking. So, now we're getting somewhere. So this is legit.
I made it through about half a hot dog in 10 minutes, but it was well worth it. And one of the big things with Timberland Federal Credit Union is we always like to go above and beyond for the community any way we can help out. So just kind of raising money through the contest wasn't enough. That's how we got into selling the hot dogs. It's become one of our kind of big premier events throughout the year. People come from all over. They love it, so it's really cool to see the community come together. We'll sell hot dogs for $1 or $2. Most people come by, give us $5-10. Hey, keep the change, give it to the kids.
Yep.
Every single dollar we make from this goes right to the Children's Miracle Network at the hospital. We don't reimburse ourselves for the food, anything like that. It's all straight for the kids. So every dollar you spend and you donate goes right to helping the children.
and my pizza for a year.
Yes, and Keith's Pizza
So
for
I
a
did
year.
make sure that they are good hot dogs. They're not just the run of the mill. You buy 100 for $3. So I was told they're very good hot dogs.
That is another true thing about Timberland Federal Credit Union. We never go halfway on anything.
There you go.
So,
well, all right. Anything else you got going on over there? Any new deals? And it's just for Center County residents and workers, correct?
So yeah,
But you
Center,
also
Clearfield,
have-
and Jefferson County. Always got great deals. Always encouraging membership. So we're here to serve the community.
I talked to Jay's boss, Joel, and he was telling me, he's like, when you were growing up and you went to your local bank and everybody knew each other, he's like, they sort of still try to do that at these different branches where you don't have that with the big, super state or nationwide banks. So he goes, you come into the Federal Credit Union over there, it's like they know your name, you one-stop shop, and you get your mortgage, your car insurance, not your insurance, but your car payment, all that stuff. So everybody knows your name, and it's a mom and pop shop.
Yeah, we do everything. Mortgages, credit cards, auto loans, checking, savings. The big difference again though between us and a big bank is we're here to support the community. We know that if the people around us are thriving and doing well, we're going to do well. Just having that strong community around us. So
imagine that.
And a well-fed customer is a happy customer, thus the hot
Very
dogs.
Much so. Very much
Friday, we will take care of that next Friday.
So we had talked about, are you allowed to disclose how the grand prize will be drawn?
We're looking at kind of basing it off of the Kentucky Derby here. So so donations will be made. You'll get to draw a number out. And kind of depending on how your horse does, we're doing the old win play show concept. So we're having a little fun with it.
Very cool.
I think if you hit a certain threshold, you get to pick a number out of a hat, and that number will have the horse's name on it. That horse, when placed in the show, you'll cash out.
Yeah.
Anywhere from necklaces, like you just said, all that stuff. So
yeah, pizza,
just
spikes,
make sure
games.
The pizza one is under.
I got you taken care of.
53 is Goon, a long shot over there, but somehow he came in and placed and showed. So.
I've already set the free pizzas aside. Don't worry, I got you.
Nice,
I got you taken care of. So.
Well, anytime you want to come on and talk about any of this stuff, you let us know, man. We appreciate help you out anytime we can, man.
Yep, great cause.
So
thank you.
11 to 2 next Friday.
Next Friday, Pleasant Gap Branch. We'll see you there.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. And Booch will join us when we return. We talk some NFL draft as we get ready for round 1 tonight. May touch on a couple of other topics, but it's draft day, so that will be the focus as we continue with the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here from Quaker Steak and Lube in State College after this.
Best 2 out of 3?
It's one fantastic ride. The turbocharged, tech-inspired new Kia Forte.
There's always something happening at Quaker Steak and Lube. From live music to exciting new flavors, meet your friends and refuel at your local Quaker Steak and Lube today. Can't slow down? Then order online. Pick up and get back on the road. Find us at thelube.com.
Best 2 out of 3?
It's one fantastic ride. The turbocharged, tech-inspired new Kia Forte.
There's always something happening at Quaker Steak and Lube. From live music to exciting new flavors, meet your friends and refuel at your local Quaker Steak and Lube today. Can't slow down? Then order online. Pick up and get back on the road. Find us at thelube.com.
Still can't believe we designed and built a boat.
Well, actually, this kayak was designed centuries ago by people who knew a lot about water. Though, the cedar was my idea. But I guess we did it together.
I hope the thing floats.
Those builders didn't talk about floating, Dad. They said the person is the boat, and the boat is the water.
Exactly.
Born of a reverence for nature. The first ever Mazda CX-50.
And we welcome you back in here on
Draft day,
this
baby.
beautiful draft day Thursday as we get ready for the draft
Look at
tonight.
you. You're like Mike the Mailman with his Altoona mirror over there.
The interesting thing for me right now is watching all of the. I was just reading through a bunch of stuff this morning, and it seems the closer we're getting, more and more folks are convinced that the Steelers are going to take a quarterback. I'm still not as convinced of that, but I'm starting to get more convinced because I think there is a chance that only one will be taken before the Steelers get their pick. What is going to be interesting to me is if Carolina does in fact take a quarterback, and if they take Kenny Pickett, I think the Steelers will take Malik Willis. If the Panthers take Malik Willis, then I'm really curious to see what the Steelers do. I think
Alan over at the bar here at the Lube is fuming. Die-hard Penn State guy, but he wants Kenny Pickett in black and gold.
Yeah, I'm just I don't know. I'm not as sold that's I'm not sold that any of these guys are going to be long-term solutions in the National Football League. But I think Willis has a better shot at it. I like his overall skill set better than I do Pickett.
I go back to what I said on the other
Mind
show.
you, I'm the guy that liked Ryan Leaf over Peyton Manning. So, take this. Oh, yeah.
Goodness.
Well, it was out
bigger
there at the
upside,
time.
bigger upside. Big, strong guy,
Yeah.
Now, I think like what they say about the NFL, there's 5 NFL rookie quarterbacks last year playing, and all 5 would be ahead of the 3 that are supposedly first rounders this year. And that's alarming one. Like, I don't ever remember a draft with this little quarterback like prospects. I don't. Do you? I mean, I know that one NFL executive came out today say this is the most bizarre draft in 30 plus years of him doing it, and that's. I would say that too. I mean, I do enjoy watching the draft, and I don't recall a draft like this where it's like there's a lot of value, but like there's really not much super top talent.
It's almost always that the first overall pick is long since decided. Sometimes the team's already in contractual negotiations with the guy who everyone knows is going to be number 1 overall. It could be a few different positions, let alone players at the top of the draft.
Yeah.
The thing with quarterback, Ironhead, like it's interesting if you say they would take Malik Willis if Pickett goes off the board. I know they like Willis, and certainly you start to worry about a run if you're targeting the position. Yes, it's an inexact science to project talent to the next level, but normally, if you're talking about broad strokes, the talent evaluators don't miss hugely on any of these positions, but especially quarterback, where if there is just not a lot of enthusiasm behind a guy as a first-round guy, if you think about playoff quarterbacks and Super Bowl quarterbacks. The great Nick Foles notwithstanding, you take Tom Brady out of the equation, and he's like the outlier of the outlier of the outlier.
Right.
It's first round picks. It's top 15 picks.
And there's one more aspect to it: more classic drop back quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's well. I mean, I wouldn't put Mahomes in that category.
I don't think, but he is.
Or Deshaun Watson.
Is he winning Super Bowls?
No. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that clearly, like, if you take all the off-field stuff out of it, like Deshaun Watson was not a miss. Like he was a legit top 15 talent.
True.
So like if you got a draft with guys that literally no one in the league is looking at any of these quarterbacks and saying that is a slam dunk top 10 guy, I tend to believe that.
And then, like I said, go back to the drop back quarterback thing. Who was the last drop back like stud that was drafted? That was Josh Allen. Now we have this. It's how football started 20-some years ago. When we all grew up playing football, it was you put your best athlete at running back and you fed him the ball and he ran the ball 30 times a game.
Right.
Then it started getting to, okay, well, you know what? He's our best player. We really should have him at touching the ball every play at quarterback. He could do a run pass option. And that bled its way into the college recruiting. And now it's bled its way. There's no longer any drop back quarterbacks being like the three right now. I mean, Corral's not a drop back quarterback type of guy. Of the three, I mean, I don't think Pickett's a true drop back guy. I mean, he's more mobile and hostile. I mean, he's not a pure running quarterback.
Yeah, I wouldn't describe either one of those guys necessarily as dual threat.
Yep.
But they've got like the same level of escapability that you saw, like like Brett Favre had, or just guys who could.
Brett Favre.
Yeah, yes, yeah, definitely. Brett Favre, when he became, what the years he put in that made him worthy of being mentioned as a top 10 guy, that just extend the play type of.
So you're seeing that you're getting more of this. You're not getting these classic drop back quarterbacks, and that's really what has always won in the NFL. Look at your top 5-10 quarterbacks in the past few years. They're 70 or 80% of them are pure drop back passers, and
although
college is not producing those anymore.
You're talking about dual threat guys, and I'm thinking back to what I just said about top 15 picks. Russ Wilson is the other big exception there, and that's another player who slipped through the cracks in a not great QB draft. So
he went 4th round,
3rd, I believe.
Jeez.
Maybe it was 4th.
Did you see it?
Yeah. I wanted Philly to draft him for sure.
You saw it, huh?
Yeah.
I just saw he got run out of North Carolina State and ran to Wisconsin and was like, he's just finishing up his career up there. I never saw. I mean, now the game I saw him play was the second game after the Paterno or the Sandusky stuff here. So we went out to that game out there when he was quarterback, and I didn't see it. I didn't personally see it, but
really,
when he got in the NFL,
man. I didn't think he was a first rounder because of how big he is.
Because
but
our team did not want to be there. He was pretty much playing against a shell defense.
Well, and like WWE level officiating too. So yeah.
Oh, look at Michael Robinson up on TV there. Look at the hair. Holy crap.
Speaking of dual threat QBs, one of the all-time greats.
Absolutely. So, all right, let's get to the nitty-gritty, boys. Where do you think Jacksonville goes? I mean, you're saying multiple positions are still up for grabs there. Where else do you think they go other than DN? Because I only have 2 DN.
Really only offensive tackle at this point. And I have seen I think the last 3 mock drafts I've seen. You guys can make your predictions. I'll add a little color commentary. I have seen all 3 has Jacksonville taken Travon Walker from Georgia. You think so, huh?
I do. One is because I just think it is such a he sort of from that area, Jacksonville, down in going from Georgia.
Yeah, SEC country, sure.
The GM has always drafted athleticism and this and that, like people who jump off the charts, off the TV, and off the workout thing more so. Hutchinson is not going. He had great numbers, there's no doubt about it, but he didn't have those type of numbers athletic wise. But Hutchinson is just a good football player, and the Jags or GM is not really known for drafting football players. He likes freaks.
Well, and this is what is really interesting to me is in reading through the stuff, and yeah, it's a pretty solid consensus now that Trayvon Walker is going to be the one pick with Jacksonville, but pretty much every analyst I'm reading about says that we think Trayvon Walker is going number one, and there's a significant risk there. Like, this does not feel like an ironclad next level guy. Certainly has potential to be, but I mean, even more than your usual risk. And the thing that's just odd to me, and I'm not, again, I am far from an expert, and I don't spend time analyzing film and breaking all this stuff down.
What do I know?
But Hutchinson, everybody is getting caught up, and I think this happens at every draft where you get caught up in the athleticism and, oh man, the number of benches and how high you jump and all that stuff. I get it. It's relevant. I'm not saying it's not worth any consideration or worth anything, but at the end of the day, what you want is a football player, and football players, I get it. They jump, they run, they do all that stuff. But what they need to do is get to the ball carrier and make the tackle, get to the quarterback and make the tackle, get between the quarterback and the receiver and break up the play. I mean, that's what you're looking for from a defender, is guys that make plays. Pretty much across the board, everybody is conceding, oh no, Hutchinson definitely made more plays in college, but we think there could be a bigger upside to Walker, and there may very well be. I'm not saying at the end of the day I'm sitting here guaranteeing you that Hutchinson's going to be the better pro, but the dude has been the most productive of those defensive ends, the most consistently productive of those defensive ends. And to me, if you're rolling the dice no matter what you pick, right? But to me, I'm going to roll the dice with the guy that's been more productive. That's just the way I would look at it. I
think Walker's younger, doesn't have as much. He has a lot more tread on his tires than Hutchinson. Hudson's been there 4 or 5 years, and he played a lot of football, so that has to play into it.
He did, but I don't think
he's a true football player who comes from a professional.
And I also don't think that wear and tear. Maybe I'm wrong about this too, but I don't think the wear and tear at a defensive end position, like a running back, yes. If you're getting 20 carries a game and you've been a 4-year starter, or nowadays a 5-year starter, yes, that worries me. Your body only has so much. Defensive end, I don't know. I don't see. I get you're taking hits and all of that to it, no matter where you're at on the football field. I just don't see that the wear and tear factor is something that would send up any kind of a red flag to me for that position. There are a couple of positions where it might.
I have 2 brothers in mind.
The Bosa
Bosas.
Yeah.
But I think he's got a lot more like those guys get hurt. It's just like they're like Bill Walton back in the day. Get hurt every other game, in my opinion. But I think
the knock against Hutchinson is the arm length, right? Like that seems to be the biggest hang up, and I'm just not. I don't know. To me,
one thing,
and there are many reasons why I'm not an NFL executive. To me, if I'm looking at the two, I'm taking Hutchinson because that feels like a more sure thing. Even if I miss, I think the miss is going to be like, I think you could really miss with Walker. Like, and again, you could really hit. I mean, I get it. It's a risk reward thing, but Hutchinson, I think even if he, 10 years from now, you're like, yeah, that wasn't a number 1 pick. I still think I feel confident in saying that 10 years from now, you're going to look and say, yeah, but we got a good player, man. Like, he was solid for a good 6-7 years anyway, is again, what it feels like to me. I don't think they'll take Hutchinson, but if I was them and I was going pass rush, that's where I would feel more secure. The other thing that's just been interesting to me is with the offensive tackle spot, and between the North Carolina State kid and Neal, and everybody seems to have the NC State kid ahead, and it's for me, it's the same thing. Neal, I would feel more comfortable with Neal just because, again, you know what you're getting from an Alabama product. Like, you know this dude. Again, if it's a miss, it's not going to be a man, he just never did anything in the NFL miss. It's going to be, yeah, we thought he was going to be more dominant, but yeah, he ended up being solid for, protecting our edge for, again, 7 or 8 years. I just, I'm really curious to see how some of these things play out. Again, I'll go with everybody, and because it feels like everybody is going to Trayvon Walker. I won't be shocked if they go offensive tackle, and I won't be shocked if they go with a pass rusher other than Trayvon, because again, if it was me, I would take Hutchinson. If that was, pass rusher is where we're going. That's the guy I would take number one. But as we talked about on Tuesday, one of the problems here is I don't think there's a guy there that feels like a number one overall draft pick.
Well, I think that Thibodeau would be the best pure rush defensive end out there, but you got to take into account what these guys got to look at, and that we're going to give somebody $50 million. Do they have the correct mindset?
Yeah.
And I go back to what I said about Hutchinson being from a professional family. He was raised around it.
Yeah.
He'll get it, and the fact that Walker has jumped them like that, they must have a good feeling about him, because Thibodeau is not – he would be the first overall, in my opinion, if it was pure upside and whatever. But I just think he's a knucklehead off the field, and I think that people are scared by that.
Guys, I think he's a knucklehead.
Terrible.
I think it is. So I'll tell you how crazy this draft is. If you would have asked me a month ago where I thought the Eagles might get value at 15, I would have brought up Trayvon Walker's name because he was not being thrown around at all as even a top 5 guy.
He must have wowed people in interviews. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
wowed
imagine last year, like, let's just say you're the team with the number 15 pick, and somebody says, who do you think you guys should target? And they say, oh, well, I'm thinking about Trevor Lawrence, right? Like, there's so much fluidity to this draft, and we're debating back and forth, which defensive end would you take? To your point, Ironhead, they just spent the number 1 overall pick on a quarterback who, like Pickett we were talking about, and Corral, mobile but not a dual threat guy. I would look really seriously at one of those 2 offensive tackles. So I think both of them are really good. Both of them could lock down the blind side for 10 years. I would protect the investment I already had in quarterback, and I'd go offensive tackle probably before either one of the ends.
I think that overall, if he's there, I think we're all pretty like if Hutchinson does not go one, that Detroit may waste like 11 seconds getting to the stage to draft him. I just think he's a Campbell guy, and he would just – maybe it's me being selfish saying I want Hutchinson to go to Detroit because he's a Michigan kid, and I think he would fit Campbell.
I mean, it's a great story. Like, I think everybody's kind of rooting for the story there, which, I mean, it is. It's a neat story.
First overall, like, damn it, man, what are they going to do, So, I mean, there's something about being the first overall pick, too. I mean, that's like, you're known – it's like winning the Heisman. You're always known as the Heisman Trophy winner from whatever. You're always known as the first overall pick from this draft. So as much as I'd like to see Hutchinson go to Detroit, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville takes him and boots you on an O-lineman.
That's where I would go. And now it might be that we're all getting gaslit by Jacksonville's front office. Like, they are intentionally putting out fake intel to all the mock drafters.
I don't think they're smart enough to do that.
Well, fair. Yeah, that's a fair point. But yeah, I mean,
in
Walker,
my personal opinion.
Usually when all the consensus coalesces around one guy this close to the draft, that's the pick. So yeah, I think Walker.
I don't know. They were smart enough to scoop up Urban Meyer when he was available.
He was available. He won one game in the United States. So Allen just threw his beer across the bar here with the Buccos losing a lead tonight.
Yeah, I'm watching. Listen, if it was me, I'm with you, Booch. And again, I would go, and I don't think there's not many, if any, that I've seen that have Evan Neal going in the top 5. But again, if it was me, because again, I don't think any of these guys Well, I don't think. I mean, I know that, like, there's nobody that's saying, man, that there is a definitive, clear number one pick, as there has been in other years by any stretch. And so, yeah, I mean, if you put me in charge, first of all, I'd try to trade down. I just don't know that anybody, again, in this draft, where's the upside to trading up to number one? There's not, again, a guy that I've got to get. So there's a chance if you're.
I'm sure that they have tried
anywhere.
Wants it.
Well,
right.
Exactly, and that's so. I mean, that's my guess is that they just soon not have that number one pick, but they're not going to get any value.
They're getting really good at
it in trading down. So to me, if you're looking at greatest need for a position or for the franchise. I'm with you. Trevor Lawrence is your franchise right now, and I'd go O-tackle. And listen, I have not broken down. Again, I'm not one of these guys that's going and looking at all of the film. I'm reading what everybody's saying. I would feel more comfortable myself with Evan Neal, and that's who I would take with that number one pick. But
Equana's really good, though. He's legit.
No, and everything I've read, I mean, it's not that I think that either of them are going to be busts of any sort. Again, I just feel more comfortable and confident that an Alabama guy is definitively going to transition well to the NFL, which is not to say, obviously, you have guys from all programs all across.
They've had a lot of guys go high from Alabama as offensive linemen.
Chance Warmack is the guy who comes to mind. I thought that guy was going to be a stud, and he stunk. He was terrible.
Then it may be, and that may be part, kind of the Nebraska syndrome from the 80s, where it just, that is a spot where I do think you can get, worn down, and depending on the. And I don't know what Alabama is using, but depending on what your program is during the course of that 4 or 5 years in terms of strength and conditioning, sometimes that transitions better to the NFL. I don't know. Neal impresses me. They both. I mean, I don't think it would be egregious if they went O-tackle with either one of those guys.
The thing I worry about with Alabama guys, and I was thrilled last year when Philly drafted 2 Bama guys in back-to-back rounds, and both of them worked out very well. Both guys I wanted. So it's not a blanket knock on SEC guys or Alabama guys. I just always look at them and say, okay, you have to do a little extra due diligence on the fact that there are so many talented players around them. How much of is it the guy
right
versus the guys around
this
him?
Morning when I called you this morning, Booch, and that was in the 70s and 80s, it was always well known. When you draft a Penn State guy, you have a guy who's well proven, who's working and work hard. He's coachable. He's going to do what you tell him. You draft him a lot higher than they really should, because you're going to have a proven player.
Yeah.
And I think that Nick Saban is the only guy who's producing those type of guys, because of those practices. You are practicing against the top guys every day, and you have the top guys chasing your position. So you better buck up and play every day.
Well, you know who's up there, though, now in terms of producing NFL talent is Georgia. And that feeds right into this discussion: is it the player or the players around him?
They finally won one in Georgia.
I get it.
I would say that would be my knock on Georgia, because they always seem that they quit. Like that's just my feeling on Georgia until last year.
But last year that defense was the truth.
But you're going to take Trayvon.
You're going to take Trayvon Walker, number 1 overall. But 2 other guys on that line in Davis and Wyatt could be first rounders. Kind of the same thing with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. My friend asked me earlier in the day.
Yeah.
He said, a lot of mocks have Olave going to Philly. Would you like that pick? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with it. I do worry a little bit. I think Garrett Wilson is the better. All right, let me say, I think he's the more complete player versus Olave. And I think Jackson Smith and Jigba was actually the best receiver on Ohio State last year. And when they had to go 4 wide, what they do, they brought in Marvin Harrison Jr. So, I mean, it's tough to defend that Ohio State receiving core, and you are not going to get the kind of coverage you saw in the Big Ten in the NFL. And so I do worry a little bit about Olave, especially because he's built like a lot like Devontae Smith.
Yep.
And he's a little bit faster.
Like he's going to get hit and then die at any time on the field.
But not nearly the contested catch artist, and I don't think quite as smart.
So big on that contested catch.
I mean,
that's your thing.
Look at how many plays as a rookie Devontae made last year with a corner draped all over him. I mean, that's why Jahan Dotson's probably going to be a first-round pick because of the hands.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Dotson will go.
Where are we? What did we make 2 picks? So
we make 2. I don't know where we are.
I think we all like Aiden Hutchinson. Any thought at all? Any thought at all that Detroit,
if he doesn't go to
throws
Jackson,
caution to the wind and goes,
Detroit goes anywhere but Hutchinson.
You don't think they go Malik? No chance.
No, I think that he is the perfect.
I don't think.
I don't either.
And like I say, Campbell's an NFL guy, so he understands the role and he understands how As I said, it goes back to how he was raised. He was raised in an NFL family, so he'll be a good professional. That's how Campbell is because he was a former player. And I think he'll relate to them, and he likes tough kids who are going to.
And I think it helps energize your fan base, right? I mean, there's no question that's who the fans are going to want there. And, I think there is something to be said for, when you're in the position that Detroit is to try to do something to get the fans. Hey, look at us! Come on out.
Talking the other day, I talked to somebody who was an Eagles fan, and they said, "Well, I can't believe how the Eagles fans really turned on Donovan McNabb today." And I was like, on that draft day, and I go back to it. I'm like, the reason why they wanted Ricky Williams so bad. Do you know why?
Well, I mean, I know WIP paid a bunch of people to boo any pick that wasn't Ricky Williams.
But why? Why were they so hot on him? Because he was a Philadelphia Phillies center fielder in the offseason.
Oh, that's true.
They had visions of Ricky Williams being Bo Jackson, center fielder, star running back. And that's exactly why people were so mad that they didn't take Ricky Williams.
I was a McNabb guy, actually. I wasn't.
Yeah. I mean, the face painters up there in the guy's building, they make me just ill to my stomach thinking about it.
Ed Rendell was a big Ricky Williams guy.
Of course he was.
Dude, I really think Philadelphia's got to make the pick here. I think they got to bring Williams to Philly.
I was at a party one time. This is not a lie. It was Fitz's, one of his birthday parties. And Ed Rendell and Mr. and Mrs. Fitzgerald were friends. So we were in this, place down at the Boathouse Row, and there was a basketball court right there. And Ed Rendell's like, "Hey, man, you want to dunk one? Just to get the fans going." And I'm like, I'm 31 years old. I'm 325 pounds, and I'm in a suit. I'm not going to sign up for that one, Ed. But thanks for asking. I was like, what the hell are you thinking here?
I got a great Ed Rendell story. I'll tell you guys off the air.
Oh, okay.
Not for consumption.
Eddie R.
Oh, there we
go.
All
right.
Okay, Texans. We got the Texans.
Any reason Texans go anybody other than an offensive lineman?
I've seen a few that have them going secondary. If I'm the Texans, no, I'm going O-line. I think a corner if you're
and the best corner out there is
if you're going.
Sauce Gardner.
Do you think he's going to be a 3? I mean, I have.
Although the kid from LSU is there were a couple of mock drafts that have Stingley going
upside through the ceiling, but he's like.
But I'm telling you, these teams get enamored with that stuff. Which is.
I had to find out for myself. I thought it was his father who was Darryl Stingley.
His grandfather.
Was the guy who was paralyzed.
How does that make you feel? By the way, we're now seeing the grandchildren of people we saw play. That's
crazy.
Depressing.
Pittsburgh, Baker Mayfield traded today.
But yes.
Jeff Powers just fell off his stool.
I'm guessing Houston goes with the NC stick. I'm off with the names here, but yeah, that's my guess. But I've seen a couple. In fact, I think either Kuiper or McShay has the LSU cornerback going as Stingley going to the Texans with that third pick. But yeah, I would think they're going.
Man, you want to talk about rolling the dice?
Well, I just think because I mean Thibodeau's going to be there presumably, and I think between and I get there is certainly a lot of value to a shutdown corner, but with the way the game is played today, I think if you're trying to build the foundation for successful franchise, right? Quarterback's where you start. Offensive line and then defensive end would be the next. To me, the next couple of spots. So I just, with the depth that there is at on the top end at offensive tackle and at defensive end, I find it hard to believe that the Texans won't go one of those two routes, even with for sure two. There seems to be a lot of separation between the top two cornerbacks and the rest of the cornerback class. So I think it's, if they go cornerback, it's one of those two. But to me, I have them going offensive tackle, the NC State kid.
And we get the fourth
Jets.
I got Thibodeau going there. I think they're just stupid enough to do it, and they're going to. He's our guy. We can change him. They're that stupid. I mean, how many times have they proven that?
So the rationale for taking Kayvon Thibodeau there is this guy was the consensus number one overall pick
4 months ago, easily.
And we got him at 4. That's the way you talk yourself into it. But you and I both kind of seem like we're in agreement that would not be a swift move for New York. I would not put that guy in New York City.
That's exactly the problem I would have with it, but I don't think they even realize that.
Yeah, if I were the Jets, and again, thankfully,
for you, not even for them.
One of the many things I'm thankful for. I am not associated in any way with the New York Jets.
Every Jets fan alive would take you as their GM, sight unseen.
Yeah,
Ironhead.
But I would go Evan Neal if I were them. If I'm the Jets, that's
we're going to be in total disagreement. I'd go Ahmad Gardner. I would go corner. They really need some help in their secondary. I think he's the best corner in the draft. I think he's the surest bet at corner in the draft. I would get him off the board right there to the Jets.
You would have him
number 4
above Stingley?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I like Stingley, but not in the top 5 because of everything you just talked about. Too many question marks.
Now the Jets got 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they risk they can make a strong pick at 4 and then wish around at 10 or vice versa.
Well, do you think? Let's go there. Do you think both of those cornerbacks are going to go in the top 9? And there's no guarantee, obviously, either way. But I think if you're thinking this, because I don't think there's a lot of separation between the two. I think potentially there is too. Gardner and Stingley.
I have a personal. I mean, that was my big play of the day here, and I think that the Eagles actually may jump up with the Jets
to number 4.
Because they think they can get Thibodeau later. I think that they might be enamored with him a little bit, and then I think the Eagles take Gardner.
The Eagles are in position to jump up and grab potentially whoever they want in the top 12 because they've got the two number 1 picks.
Yep, and
they've got 2 third rounders that they got. They have 2 third rounders because they got the extra third from New Orleans.
And they have 2 next year.
And so then you've got the Jets with 2 picks in the top 10.
Yep.
You've got Carolina.
Giants also have 2 picks in the top 10.
Yeah, but we're not trading. The New York Giants wouldn't even pick up the phone if they saw Howie Roseman's
after all the relations they had about tanking a game 2 years ago.
But you've got Carolina at 6, and they have very few picks in this draft because they traded a bunch away. I think there's room for Philly to move up.
That's where the trade is going to happen. That's going to happen with the Jets there or with Carolina. Because I think that Carolina.
I think Carolina's likely.
I'm jumping around. I think that they like Pickett. And I think that if they make a trade with the Eagles at 15 or 18, I think that they think that Pickett will be there. So they could probably pick another draft pick out of the Eagles.
Yeah.
And I think the Eagles jump up and take a corner.
Or a pass rusher, potentially. Thibodeau, if he's there, Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State, another guy they like a lot.
By the way, there's a third O-lineman in there, the kid Cross from Mississippi State.
Yeah.
That they have in the top 10, a lot of people do. And I have him. I have him with the Giants.
Yeah, let me tell you, if Howie Roseman trades up to take another,
you said it the other day. You sold me big time. What
Mike
you said
Leach,
Tuesday.
offensive tackle,
You
like
said
on
about
Andre
the offensive
Dillard.
line. What did you say about the offensive line coach?
The Eagles can go O-line in later rounds because they love Jeff Stoutland and his ability to coach up talent from good to great.
Did they have an Australian rules football player who never played football before, who's playing his way into being one of the top left tackles in this
stud?
League?
Nate, her big
That's
6-rounder, going to
ridiculous.
start, going to be great.
That's a hell of a coaching job, and that guy deserves a lot of credit for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the Giants, and I go back to the Panthers, and the Giants, Panthers, and then Giants again. And I think if Gardner's there, I think the Giants go Stingley Gardner. I think they want to go O-line and then a corner. I don't think they're going to trade with the Eagles. But do you see anybody else trading up for any of that? I think the Eagles have the most to offer for trading up. I don't think any other teams have that.
That extra 3rd rounder they picked up in the New Orleans trade really gives them flexibility few other teams have. And most teams aren't trying to trade up because they don't see the value. But if you're Philly, you only want to have so many rookies on contract, so you can move those picks around, and you could even try to
say I'll give you a 1st round next year if you give me a couple. There's a different because there's 2 1st rounds next year again,
and you could stand to move back from 18.
True that.
And pick up another 2022 or 2023.
I have
pick.
my special pick at 18.
Okay. All right. I'm looking forward to it.
I think
we got to get there.
We'll get there by the time we get there.
Seriously.
So we're down to the Falcons, and I got Neil. I got them going O-tackle. One of those 3 O-tackles. I mean, there's 3 teams that need O-linemen. I think that the 3rd available of those star offensive linemen is going to go to Atlanta.
I could see that. I think I had Thibodeau going to the Falcons.
You're going to get anywhere from 1 to 20.
Well, the crazy thing about this draft.
I know.
And the thing is,
Atlanta
all of these teams have multiple. It's not like
they need everything.
There's not like an obvious outside of Hutchinson to Detroit feels, and maybe it's too obvious. Like maybe they'll go somewhere else, but that's the only one that feels like everything's just together. There's a need there. It's a great fit. The storybook type of draft pick and all of that. But everywhere else, there's multiple needs. And again, it's not like, if this guy's available, clearly you have to get him. Because, again, it's, edge rushers and offensive tackles are a premium. And, there's at least, consensus 2 elite offensive tackles and at least 4, if not 5, top tier potential pass rushers.
It could all go to waste right here if a receiver goes in the top 5.
Well, and that's the other thing. Yeah,
6 of them. They can play into it at any time. Like it could be the offensive line run, or it could be the offensive tackle run. Excuse me, there's a big difference. Your offensive tackle run, or it could be a wide receiver run early in the draft. Who knows? I want to draft.
It is. It is possible.
We'll listen to the show on Monday and be like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is why we're on doing it quicker. Take a little bit Tuesday and Thursday afternoons and not on ESPN or NFL Network.
But
I think the potential is. I think the potential is all of the experts join us.
What if Hutchinson is a complete maniac and he gets drafted by his hometown team and he's out every night with his high school buddies? I mean, that has to play into it somewhere. I mean, I'm telling you, they look into that stuff. They really do.
Course.
You're giving somebody $50 million. Just give me 1. I'd be all right with it.
All right. What do we have after? Where are we at?
We were at Atlanta. We go on Evan. They were going to take the 3rd of the available offensive linemen.
Who cares about these teams? Let's talk about the Eagles and the Steelers.
Seattle going with another the second corner. And then
I have
the one I have. I think they're going to.
I have Seattle going corner.
And when you were talking about, will 2 guys go in the top 9? That Seattle is like that's
for sure.
There.
Yeah.
And the Jets traded the commies. I think that's when the wide receivers started coming off the board of the left.
So who do you have Washington selecting?
The commies?
Yes.
I have them drafting one of the 2 of the Ohio State receivers.
Interesting. So you put 2 OSU guys with McLaurin and either Wilson or
one of those 2 will go. I think I personally don't see the difference in either one of them. You had a couple different analogies, and they're not huge guys. I mean,
no. I think Wilson just does everything maybe a little bit better than Olave, but. Again, there are a couple of other receivers who I like better than either one of those guys.
I like your analogy of the Pac-12 Pac-12 wide receivers.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean,
They go high all the time, and it's like,
yeah. And speaking of which, I already said I don't want Drake London from USC. I like Jamison Williams from Alabama. I'm not worried about the injury at all.
I'm sorry, that's the guy I haven't taken if they trade with the Jets at the 10.
Yeah. I think it's very possible they trade up and get Jamison Williams.
I think that Hurts is it might be in their ears saying, "Hey, let's move out. This guy's legit." And I don't mind having Alabama North. I really don't.
I am super intrigued by Treylon Burks from Arkansas, because he could be like a combination of Deebo Samuel and Anquan Bolden. And I mean, that kind of productivity, different kind of receiver, especially in modern NFL offense. I like his potential a lot. And then I got to admit, guys, two other guys I like: George Pickens from Georgia, and Christian Watson. And maybe I should have North Dakota State PTSD, but if you look at that guy's combination of size, speed, catch radius, and what he did to the best competition he faced at the Senior Bowl, you start to think, he might be legit.
By the way, I meant to write it down, but I think it was either Kuiper or McShay have Ebiketie going at the toward the end of the first round too.
Yep.
And I've seen a couple of other mock drafts, not many, but there are a few of them that have him and Dotson both going in the opening round here tonight, which would be fun.
Yeah, I think Dotson's a first round guy. I do too. Again, I think Green Bay and KC are great matches.
Yeah, I think KC. I don't know. I'm seeing more and more mocks having Dotson gone before Kansas City gets to him, but that just feels like such a great fit to me, and I could certainly see him being off the board. But I think if he's there, Kansas City jumps on him. So I think he's, in my mind, definitively a first round pick, and I'd love to see it. And I think Ebiketie can be first round productive at the next level. So, I don't think it would be a huge reach for anybody to take him toward the end of that first round, because I think he's a guy that has the productivity, but is just kind of realizing his potential. I mean, I think his upside is
last year.
No, and that's the thing. He is. And he kept getting better. Like I think he is adding little things to his game, and I think he's a very coachable kid. I mean, I think he is a guy that can really be extremely productive for a long period of time in the NFL. He feels like one of those guys that is just going to maximize his potential, and I think his potential is pretty substantial.
My prediction is that Dotson will end up being the only Penn Stater going in the first. Think I think Ebiketie will go early on day 2. And I wouldn't be shocked if he's one of the last few picks of the first round. One of the things that I think teams really like about Arnold Ebiketie is you get the sack production and the motor I talked about. But he blocked kicks last year too, and that just shows you just levels of drive and athleticism that get you thinking like, okay, this guy could be a late first or a second round pick. It's not just the sack numbers. Well, and I was just going to say, and Brisker is another guy who I try to take.
Is he a firster?
I don't think so, but I think he could be. I think he's going to have the kind of career that you will look back and say that guy could have legitimately been a first round pick. I try to take the blue and white glasses off on this one. I really do. I buy Jaquan Brisker as a potential pro. I would love to see him end up in Philly in the second round.
Yep.
And depending on what kind of positional runs happen and how teams value the different safeties, I wouldn't be shocked if he's still there at 51. I doubt he will be, but I won't be stunned.
You offer the Jets your 15 pick for their 10 pick, and then that pick early second round, and take Brisker. And give him a first rounder, give him the second first rounder maybe. I don't know.
I wouldn't do that,
but I'm just saying there's a way to get him, because Eagles don't pick until the mid second round, and I think that he'll be gone by then.
Probably.
Another thing about our defensive end, He won the strength conditioning award, and it was only his first year at Penn State. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a guy right there who came to Penn State from Temple and just said, "Okay, I'm here to work. I'm here." I mean, you don't win those awards. You just don't make that kind of impression on people in 1 year, and he did. So we'll see.
Yeah, I do think I think all three of those guys are going to have long, productive NFL careers. Brisker, the thing with Brisker is like we were talking about earlier, like. That dude is just a football player. There's instinctive elements to the game that don't show up, and not that he tests well on all the other stuff too, the athleticism. But there is something to be said for just, man, I know I can feel this coming, and he just has that feel for recognizing what other teams are trying to do. Yep. And baiting them in. I think he was one of the best guys we've seen, certainly in the last decade at Penn State, in baiting quarterbacks, and that is a really special skill to be able to acquire, and I think that for sure benefits you in a big way at the next level. But I think all three of those guys are going to have good careers.
Would be the shoulders. You know, I mean, that's why I think he does drop to the second round, because I don't think he'd take a risk on a guy who might, not have the greatest. He might,
especially since part of his game is trucking guys.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, am I out of line saying he reminds me of Minkah Fitzpatrick a little bit? How he just goes out there and makes freaking plays. Like he has
I think
baiting, and he just makes freaking football plays out there.
Yeah, the cliche he has a nose for the football, but he just does. I mean,
I like him. I'm very impressed by his play.
I think the Steelers do end up going quarterback. I've been talking with friends back and forth today, and I'm actually in the minority among my Steelers friends and thinking that the Steelers do end up going quarterback in the first round. Like I said, I think it partly depends. I think Willis will be there when the Steelers pick, and so I think the Steelers take him. If he's not, then I'm much less certain. But I think the Steelers like Willis. I think they really like the potential there, and I think they believe that he could be that franchise guy, and I think he will be there, and I think that is who the Steelers take.
I would like to agree with you, but they have their quarterback coming in Baker Mayfield, so why waste a first-round pick on a guy, I mean.
Ironhead, if they don't go quarterback,
where do they go?
If you had your choice.
I would love to see them go Lindblom, but I don't think they're I did see somebody today had the Eagles taking Lindblom with it.
That's what I thought to what he told me.
So
no, I know.
They want another guy who Philly could target in the second round is Cameron Jurgens, who's a center from Nebraska.
Okay.
Who I think, from what I've read, he projects well at the NFL level. And again, as an Eagles fan, the one place where you are giving benefit of the doubt as far as the eye can see is O-line, because you figure if we take an O-lineman, Jeff Stoutland signed off on it, and Jeff Stoutland's going to coach him, so you just don't worry about it. And so going with that logic, do you spend a first-round pick on a center where you think, man, we could get a guy, like the Nebraska kid in the second round, Alec Lidstrom from Boston College in the third, somebody like that. If Stoutland can make up that difference, you don't want to miss on an impact defensive back receiver, pass rusher in the first round.
If the Eagles got a first round.
Yeah, he's not someone who can go center.
No one's going to walk in and start on that offensive line first year. So I don't think they're going to waste their pick. So I know we don't got much time left, but I do have – you said Hutchinson is the best pick for a certain team and this and that, but I think the kid from Northern Iowa, the offensive tackle, I think he's the ideal Baltimore Raven. Like that tough son of a bitch that they used to have in Yanda.
Yeah.
And that type of guy, that mauler type of dude, that fits them. But I'm telling you right now, if the Steelers don't go quarterback and that guy's there, I mean, I would roll the dice on that cat. I mean, he's a physical son of a bitch. He really is, and he has a nasty attitude to him, and that fits that conference, in my opinion. It really, really does. And I think
No,
he can project a tackle and or guard. Maybe he plays guard for a year, gets his plays in and this and that, and then moves out the left tackle eventually. But I just think he's perfect for Baltimore or Pittsburgh. I really, really do. And then my
I could
pick
see
that I
that.
wanted 18. I think that Howie's so sick and tired of people giving him shit about, he tries to overthink that he's going to take Jonathan Davis from Georgia. Because he knows it's a sexy pick, and the people will love him for it.
Jordan Davis.
Sorry, John.
I was just going to ask you about Jordan Davis. So, what do you think about that pick? If the Eagles go there with either one of their picks,
but I don't think it's a guaranteed home run because there's a guy we talked about somebody here from Penn State who ate his way out of the NFL. You know what I mean? And didn't have the work ethic.
You know what? I don't care. I don't care. I watched him last year. I looked at his combine numbers.
I could not believe what I was seeing. I really could not believe what I saw.
And I think you talk about the Northern Iowa kid going to Baltimore. I think Davis is another he's another hand in glove fit with the Ravens. Yeah.
So we're batting like 0.82, I think, when we figure this out on Monday.
That probably sounds about right.
Well, so we're going to hit like Kyle Schwarber.
You know what's awesome? We did not mention the 76ers once.
We did not.
There's no pressure tonight at all.
Nor shall we.
Horace is walking
Will
out
we
here.
still have them to
Horace
talk about on
Sixers played the
Tuesday?
other night, but he's wearing a Sixers sweatshirt. He said he just got it from Fanatics.
Let me tell you, as a 76ers fan, not knowing when they play is the best way to follow the team.
Well, enjoy the draft, enjoy the NBA playoffs, enjoy Major League Baseball, those of you that have Major League Baseball teams to follow, and we will talk to you on Tuesday. Yes, I know. We'll talk to you again on Tuesday and rehash the draft when we join you. Until then, be good and be safe.
No Pac-12 receivers, Howie.
Best 2 out of 3.
It's one fantastic ride. The turbocharged, tech-inspired new Kia Forte.
There's always something happening at Quaker Steak Lube. From live music to exciting new flavors, meet your friends and refuel at your local Quaker Steak Lube today. Can't slow down? Then order online. Pick up and get back on the road. Find us at thelube.com.
You know, we humans have come a long way on our journey. Our first language wasn't exactly, a language. Medium well, thank you. Our first vehicles weren't the fastest.
Can you,
Faster. Hey, boys, punch it! Our first maps weren't that accurate. And you know, fellas, the world is actually, give a ball. Our first phones weren't smart. Text mom winky face emoji. Our first screens, you couldn't touch.
Mom, Dad's feeling the TV.
No one likes a snitch, son.
And the first electric vehicles weren't, let's just say, they look nothing like the first ever Ioniq 5. I mean, two-way charging, AR heads-up display, 300-mile range. What can't this thing do? Look, the point is, it's been a long,
yeah, good point. Really long journey.
but worth it. Your journey at its most evolved, the fully electric Hyundai Ioniq 5.